I'm calling to order the meeting of the Beaufort County Library Board of Trustees. It is 4:02. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everybody stand, and Rosalie will lead us. Where is the flag? This way. Oh, right behind you. Here's the flag. Okay, go ahead, Rosalie.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Yesterday I haven't done that.
We will now introduce the board members. Would you like to start, Brenda?
Brenda Watson Powell, District 1.
Terry Thomas, District 2. Bernie Cole, District 3.
Tracy Robinson, District 4.
Lynn Miller, Chair in District 10.
Rosalie Richmond, District 7.
Shauna Culpa, District 6. Kathy Cooper, District 5.
And we would like to introduce our new liaison from Beaufort County. He's the county councilman, and his name is Joe Passama. And Joe, would you like to say anything?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be a part of the library board. My job is to bring to council the wants and needs of our group.
We also have Amanda.
My name is Amanda Dickman. I am pleased to be your library director for another month. Just kidding.
And would you like to introduce the two guests?
Yeah, before I do that, I want to introduce the fine folks from broadcast who are keeping us recorded and ready for public viewing. We have behind the screens Alec Bishop, Matt Golden, and Tim Lyons. So thanking them for keeping us on record. We do have 3 guests with us today, and I can introduce them, and if I miss anything, feel free to fill in for me. We have Angela Baldry, Marianne Sear, and Mary Foster.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming, and Mr. Passman, thank you so much for being our liaison. It's very helpful. Is there any public comment from any of the ladies? No? All right, thank you. I would like to, next we're going to have the approval of the minutes. I'd like to amend the minutes because at the bottom of members of, at the nominating committee, it wasn't listed who the members were. So I want to add that chair is Tracy Robinson. This is for nominating at the bottom. Brenda Powell and Rosalie Richmond. So I would like to know, could we approve the minutes as corrected? Thank you, Bernie. And second? Second, Kathy. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good, okay. Is there any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Could we have the library director's report, please?
So I have lots of pictures and lots of stats and data, so hold on tight. It's going to be a great presentation. In your packet, you have my monthly report, which you're used to seeing. It includes a lot of wonderful statistics about all the great work that libraries are doing. It also has a few flyers, and I will go over some of those in this presentation. I hope you are still enjoying the list of the top requested titles in that month, so you can have something to put on your to-be-read list. In March, we are now in March, and so a lot of our thoughts turn to women's history, to St. Patrick's Day. And in the Hilton Head Library, we have Mr. Books, who is prominently on the circulation desk, all dressed out in his St. Patrick's Day attire. We have some highlights from the past couple of programs and events held at our libraries. In the upper left corner, you see Crafty Creations, which takes place here every month at the Bluffton Library. They always do some sort of fun craft. On the upper right-hand corner are snakes, and I was not present that day. At the Port Royal Library, we had venomous snakes of the Lowcountry at several locations. We had record attendance. You may remember 300 people on the lawn for the opening of the Port Royal Library. Well, we didn't have 300 people for snakes, but we did have 50, a mixture of all ages for that. I guess wonderful presentation. I'm not sure what adjective fits there, but it was exciting nonetheless. In the bottom left hand, you'll see our teen board from the Bluffton Branch Library. They participated in a mystery escape room, and they figured out who done it. In the middle, you see a quilt program, and I want to make sure that you spend time here in the Bluffton Library today to see the quilts that are on display by the May River Quilt Group. And then in the right, you see our anime club that meets here. This is youngsters. I guess that's a phrase. That dates me, doesn't it? But we have a young group of people who enjoy getting together, drawing, and reading anime and manga types of graphic novels. I'm going to turn our attention to the personnel update. So we did in this last time since we met together, we have added a new library assistant at the Beaufort Library that filled a vacancy. We had 3 internal transitions. So we had some vacancies that were filled from existing library staff. That's a library assistant part-time at the Bluffton Library that will be working full-time. A library assistant full-time at the Bluffton Library who wants to go to part-time and finish her education. And then a library assistant at full-time who works at Beaufort, actually lives in Bluffton, and since we had a vacancy here, preferred to work here. So a little bit of internal shuffling, all in fulfilling the requests and desires of the employees in those positions. We do have 8 vacancies. It is the time of year where people start to make transitions, so this is typical for us. I'm still searching for a deputy director because I need to find the right fit and the right person. We have a few, we have 2. The next 2 vacancies you see are almost next to library administrator for user experience was a new position request that was fulfilled in this budget year, so I now get the ability to seek and hire a user experience librarian. That person will be working in the administrative office, and they will be fulfilling my dream to have an onboarding experience for every library staff. So when we welcome a new programmer or a new librarian, I'd like to have Beaufort County Library University so that they get a taste of our core values and the core parts of librarianship, and then specialized training in what they will be doing. Right now, we train people on the fly, and that's okay, but I'd like to have a more intentional training part, and they will handle that as well as meeting rooms, because right now, I handle all of those. A library manager at Hilton Head. Many of you know Miss Mary Jo. She has decided to retire and has shared that information, so we will now be seeking a library manager at the Hilton Head branch. We are still seeking a senior librarian at the Lobico branch to manage the Lobico library. We've done several interviews. Again, just want to make sure we find the right fit. And the librarian for collection development is also a new position request that I asked county council for, and they approved for this year. And so now I get to hire a person who will do for our print collections what you have heard we do with our digital collections. You know that I have a librarian whose sole focus is buying everything in digital, making sure that we're getting what we need and meeting the needs and requests there. I need to do that on the print side of things. So we're looking for a qualified person to assist us in that way. And then I have library assistant full-time at Bluffton, full-time at Beaufort, and part-time at Hilton Head. Some of those are resignations for relocation, and some of those are resignation because of other issues that they need to take care of. They're not able to work anymore. So.
Amanda, are there a lot of librarian qualified people in the area?
You know, Beaufort County is a great place to live, and we have that coming for us. So a lot of people want to work here, and a lot of people like to work with books. And a lot of people apply to work in libraries because they have the dream of being around books all day. And so we do end up getting a lot of applications for some of the positions. Sometimes we have to make a hard choice between top candidates. But for the most part, we found that people are interested in working in Beaufort County and at the library.
Great, thank you.
So now, as customary, I will start giving you the rest of my updates in terms of our strategic plan. As you remember, we have 4 goals in our strategic plan. Those are in terms of user experience, collection, space, and communication. So with user experience, our strategic focus is to provide library visitors with a friendly, informed, and user-focused experience. So I'm very pleased to tell you that as of February 28th, we have issued 4,330 new library cards this year so far, since July 1. Now, I don't want to give you a number without any context. Why am I so happy about that? Because in all of last year, we gave out 4,286. So with a few more months to go, we've already surpassed the new library cards for last year. So that number tells me a couple things. People are moving here. That also tells me that people are coming to the library. And both of those things make me happy. Also, since our last meeting, we wrapped our first ever winter reading program. So it was 30 days of reading. All you had to do was read just a few minutes a day. And we had, for the first time ever providing this program, we had 623 people who participated. So you can see the age breakdown there. That's 91 under the age of 5, 210 in that elementary sweet spot, and 67 in that teenage years, which is really good, and then 255 adults. So we're really pleased to see that initial interest in this first pilot of this program, and we hope to bring it back for years. Did anybody here participate? Thank you, Shauna. You can see our winners. We had a winner from each age category, thanks to the Friends of the Library. So the Friends of Beaufort, the Friends of Bluffton, and the Friends of Hilton Head all provided a $50 card to either Books A Million or Barnes & Noble to keep these winners reading. So. Our second goal of the strategic plan is in terms of collections, and our major focus is to offer a wide range of collections in contemporary formats. So this is about the best picture I could get for you of the Palmetto Post. Why am I showing you this? A few weeks ago, many of you know my office is in the Beaufort Library on the second floor, and I share space with the Beaufort District Collection, or our archives. A few weeks ago, I heard a big squeal, and I had to go run and find out what happened. Grace Cordial, who runs the Beaufort District Collection, had just gotten an email from the South Carolina Digital Newspaper Project letting her know that the Palmetto Post, which we own, is going to be digitized. On the surface, that's a really cool fact. Grace has been waiting for that message for 20 years. And that is why she screamed. This is a dream come true for her, and this is a big win for researchers all across the country to be able to have access, digital access to a paper that was published in the 1800s. And so this is a big win for the Beaufort District Collection. It's a great honor to have this collection be digitized and made available beyond Beaufort County. We also are circulating, thanks to a partnership with the Community Foundation of the Low Country and the American Heart Association, we have blood pressure monitor kits for circulation. And we just released those, just made those available late January. So in February, they have already circulated 21 times. So the feedback we're getting is that it was nice to have the ability to do that. The person might have gotten advice from their physician to monitor for a certain amount of time. These people didn't have to go out and go purchase one. They could just borrow one from us. And so really pleased to see that these are being utilized and meeting a need in the community. They are available at every location, and there's multiple kits at each location. Our goal is create welcoming and accessible library spaces. And so I have several new projects that we are involved in. Right now, if you were to visit me in my office, you would see that I'm in a huddled mass in my room because we're getting paint, much needed paint. But there's paint touch-up happening throughout Beaufort Branch right now. In the next few weeks, we will be having new furniture in the children's area of the Hilton Head Library. We'll be replacing the circulation desk there, as well as the computer tables where the kids use the AWE computer games. We're also upgrading the computers at the computer labs in St. Helena and Hilton Head. So those computers are going to get an uplift, an upgrade. And then one I know that Dr. Porter, were she here today, would be very happy to hear. The Reading Garden is going to be renovated late May, early June. You know that we've had issues with overgrowth, some ADA issues there with accessing that, and just it's in need of some love. And I'm happy to tell you that it's going to get that this spring. And our final strategic goal is to deliver timely, relevant communication both internally and externally. Our marketing team has been working very hard. Since our last meeting, they have implemented a new cardholder welcome aboard email. So when you register with the library, you get your library card, automatically you are sent a welcome aboard email. And it just kind of gives you an introduction into all that the library has to offer and hopefully pique your interest to click and find out more. So far, 370 people have received that welcome aboard email. Also, many of you probably subscribe to Beaufort County Administration Weekly Update. That currently has a subscribership of 50,000 email addresses. And now the library is going to be featured. So when you get that weekly update, you're going to see highlights from council meetings, other types of news and events, things that are happening, but you'll also see things about the library as well as Parks and Rec and other types of departments. So really happy to get the library in that publication. And then also, one of the things I want to make sure that you know is, in terms of email marketing, the industry standard for the education sector is that 35% of emails get opened and read. They call that the open read rate or the open read rate. Our emails, every month, the average is that they are opened and read 45% of the time. Just wanted to share with you that we're always looking at how our emails are coming across to the person and trying to make sure that we're providing information that is of interest to them and will pique their ability to click and learn more. We've seen an increase in program attendance, in utilization of resources, and also just general communication back to us. We do get a lot of responses back to those emails as well. But just kind of let you know how our email marketing is performing. We're about 10% above education standard. And a few upcoming programs that you might be interested in. Our annual bookmark contest is currently underway, and that is available to all ages. There will be a winning bookmark selected in each age category. There are 4, and we will print 4 designs in time for summer reading. The people who are selected will get an artist bag, a gift bag, with artist supplies appropriate to their age category. So do encourage people to submit their artwork. We have the templates at each of our branches, and they can also download it from our website. But what we're looking for there is what they think Color Your World means. So we're going to be looking for the winning submissions for bookmarks on the theme of Color Our World, which is our summer reading theme. A very shameless plug, yours truly will be presenting Honky Tonk Angels, a lecture, musical storytelling adventure through the classic female pioneers in country music. That's a side project of mine. I, of course, am not being paid for this. It's just something that I love to do. Anytime I get to wear a guitar and sing in the library is a great day for me. So I'm going to step away from the paperwork and sing a little Patsy Cline. So please come and see that. I'll be in Beaufort on Friday at 2, and then South of Broad next Thursday. You can see the presentation at 11 o'clock in this room or at 3 p.m. on Hilton Head. So shameless plug for that. There are other wonderful opportunities for you to experience programs at our libraries. One of the series that's really catching a lot of interest is the Library Travel Series at the Hilton Head Library. Their next meeting will talk about Scotland, and I hear that quite a crowd is forming. So you can go see them March 19th and hear all about Scotland. We have our Beaufort District Collection. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. We're having Mrs. Peggy Pickett. She dresses as Mrs. Pinckney and does a presentation. So if you're interested in history, you may want to come to Beaufort on Tuesday, March the 25th to see that presentation. Also, on the local history vein, we have Mr. Chris Barr from the Reconstruction Era Park Museum. He's going to be talking about Robert Smalls and untold stories from the planter. At our St. Helena Library on March the 27th, we will have Mr. Bob Shepard speak about his experience with the Tuskegee Airmen. So all three of those are on that slide together because they're all history related. So I'm hoping to pique your interest in attending one of those events. National Library Week will happen in April, and so we are gathering all of our energies in trying to create a week of robust programming to celebrate all things library. Our Lobico branch is already promoting what they're going to be offering, so they have story time, an egg hunt, drawing, and painting kind of a program, and then also one of their family story times with buttons and bookmarks. And Port Royal has already said that they're going to do book page origami for their National Library Week. So do look at our announcements that come out as more and more events around National Library Week start to get populated. And with that is the end of my official director's report. I'll entertain any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions? Well, thank you. That it shows how busy the library is and how important it is. So thank you very much. We'll now go to the reports, the committee reports. Joe Bogas is not here. So Amanda, would you like to give the finance report?
I can do that. The highlights of the report, and we will get into the actual each page for you, but the highlights are in terms of our operating expenses, we're 67% through the year and we're 61% spent. That means we're on track. There is an additional $47,000 that isn't reported to you yet because it hasn't cleared the bank. So we're right in the sweet spot. We aren't overspent, but we're right on track to finish out the year. In terms of our special funds, there was a significant increase this past period in revenues received through the North of Broad impact fee balance. We'll go over that in just a second. And then I always like to point out in Joe's stead, because it's his favorite report, in terms of materials, in this reporting period, we have spent $100,000 on putting books on the shelves and in our digital resources. So I'll start with an in-depth look at our operating. Fast. So special funds comes first. I misspoke. So special funds, these are impact fees. As I mentioned, we received our third and fourth installments of state aid. So just to kind of remind you of how important state aid is to public libraries in South Carolina, for Beaufort County, our state aid is $468,728. That's half of our book buying budget. And so it's essential that we have this support from the state. And we're thankful that the state sent all of it so we can spend it by the end of the fiscal year. In terms of impact fees, in the new Northern District, we received over $300,000 in impact fees in that district. So there's a lot of growth happening in the northern part of the district, at least in this reporting period. It just kind of leapt off the page at me when I'm looking at updating these funds for you. We had, in the middle column, we're still reporting the balances in the old impact fee districts. There's no money going into those anymore, but we do need to utilize those funds for capital projects as they come up and are applicable to that district. In terms of our special trusts, donations, no big movement there. In terms of our operations update, our operations budget that we get from the county, this is where I said we are 67% through the year, with 61% expenditures cleared through the bank. Again, another $47,000 in invoices we've processed, just haven't paid fully. So we're on track there. You know that my goal is to leave no money on the table. In terms of materials, we always like to report to you what we've spent in terms of books, audiovisual, our lease books, databases, magazines or periodicals, and Hoopla, and then what fund source paid for that, whether it was state aid, Beaufort District Collection Fund, whether it was lottery funds, county funds, or friends. And so at this point of the year, we've spent almost half of our allocation towards materials. So we're on track, as Joe would say, for nearly $1 million spend on books. And that's exactly what libraries should be doing, is putting the money right back on the shelf. So. Any questions about these finance reports?
No questions, all right, thank you. We'll move on with the other committees. We have a new committee chairman now, so it's a new year. Policies and procedures, Janine could not be here, but there's been no activity this last month. Strategic planning, Kathy Cooper, is there any report?
Only what Amanda gave us.
Okay, well, I believe we're going to start working on, is it next year, strategic planning for the next couple of years, so. So it's nice that we have this nice, that we can look at the way you're reporting it and use that structure maybe for the next one. Janet Porter is not here either, and there's been no books challenged or requested for reconsideration. Library facilities, Shauna, have you talked to Amanda, is there anything?
She highlighted the advanced, like the reading garden.
Yeah, good, thank you. Liaisons, Brenda, do you have any reports from Buford?
Don't, but we're going to have to ask Amanda. Amanda reported that she attended the Friends of the Library of Buford.
Yes, I do. They will next meet tomorrow. They're discussing a lot of things. They are in the midst of their Book Sandwiched In series. They just wrapped it on Monday. Had the pleasure of the library had the pleasure of joining them in that and actually being able to talk to attendees about library resources and materials. So really happy to have that. And they had a great success with that, so they're very happy to have another season in the books, so to speak. I will meet with them tomorrow. They are exploring ways that they can perhaps complement and support the library through smaller types of projects that they might be able to take on for us. So really excited for their partnership in that.
Thank you. Rosalie, do you have a report for Bluffton?
No, nothing to report.
Nothing to report, okay. Hilton Head is...
Ms. Miller, I didn't attend their last meeting either. I was at a conference. But I would be remiss if I didn't say they are having their big sale this weekend. So they call it the Epic Book Sale. And so if you are in the market for used books at a great price, come to the Bluffton Library this Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's right, and snag some great deals and support the library in the process.
Thank you. There's a big sign as you walk in. I failed to remember that. So
I'll be working there.
Lynn,
Yes?
Can I add something?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks to Amanda for this short report, but there are some things that are being prepared to do. Replacement of worn children's furniture at Hilton Head, upgrades to the computer labs at both Hilton Head and St. Helena, and renovations to the reading garden at Hilton Head. Nice thing about these proposed things is they have already been approved and they've already been financed. So
That's the important thing, financing.
financing part, that can drag you out.
Yeah, absolutely. We all know how hard that is to get sometimes. Well, thank you, Bernie. So the last Friends meeting that met was Hilton Head, and they're relooking at their bylaws. Their bylaws are pretty good, but they want to make sure they have everything well done, because some of the members are staying on past. They're having trouble getting new volunteers. So some of the members are staying past their date that they're supposed to leave, so they're looking at the bylaws. And they're also planning an annual meeting in May. They haven't had an annual meeting for quite some time. COVID kind of got them out of the loop there, so that will be, they're going to reincorporate that and get things back to normal. So that's Hilton Head. The Public Library Foundation, I'm a liaison, but I couldn't be there, but Kathy was kind enough to go. Kathy, do you have a little report?
I
I do have a report.
Good.
The meeting was held on the 27th of February. There were only 3 members present, some illness, plus Amanda and myself. Their annual 24-25 campaign brought in $26,715 from 75 donors. They did mention their donor pool is becoming smaller, and they expressed a need for additional potential donors. And they send out a request letter once a year, and so if anybody has suggestions, I'm sure they would be open to trying something new or getting additional names. The foundation total net worth is $933,575.50, with $627,000 in unrestricted funds. And the foundation is again supporting the annual summer reading program up to $16,000.
Thank you, Kathy. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
I'm always happy to hear about all the support for the summer reading. Do the Friends support it as well?
Yes, the Public Library Foundation, as you heard, this is the first year that they're supporting it with that investment. The Friends, all 3 Friends groups also participate as well. They help us put this whole program together and make sure that we're incentivizing readers of all ages, because it is for adults too, and motivating people to read all summer long.
Thank you so much. That concludes the committee reports. Is there any old business? Any new business? Amanda, did you want to talk about the?
Yes. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, in my monthly report, I did give you a few bills that we were tracking, and just for information purposes, wanted to let you know that they do have implications for public libraries, and that myself, along with other library supporters and directors across the state, are monitoring these. So they are House Bill 4045, which would adjust the requirements on county library director, removing the master's degree requirement. And then also House Bill 3850, which would introduce that the library has to certify quarterly about our collections in order to qualify for state aid. And then Senate Bill 104, which is similar to that House version. And then a budget proviso that would jeopardize a portion of state aid to any library that refused to be a polling location during a voting period. As I mentioned, I'm just sharing that for your information. I want you to be informed about these discussions that are happening at a state level, and what they could, how they could impact libraries across the state and not just in Beaufort County. I will tell you that as of last evening and the alerts that I received this morning, that House Bill 4045 related to the master's degree for a library director, that was tabled. So that means it is not moving at the moment in the House. And then also House Bill 3850 regarding the quarterly certification in order to get state aid, that was also tabled in the House of Representatives yesterday. So they passed a budget that did not include those 2 amendments. And so I would encourage you to thank your representatives for listening and for voting in support of public libraries.
Did the whole session vote on that, or just, that was out of committee and voted on in a session?
It was voted in the general session of the House of Representatives. Mm-hmm.
So we can thank any of all of our representatives for that.
In terms of the recorded vote, all of the Beaufort delegation voted to table those amendments.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I have a question. Is it typical to have this many legislative options out per year? Since I'm new, I have no idea.
Well, you know, this is, I meant to begin my introduction with this. This is my 4th year as your library director. It's been 5 years today since we shut down for COVID. I don't know if it feels like that was only a minute ago, but, and I can only speak to my experience. And so, Kathy, it has not been my experience that there be this many bills addressing libraries.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I would encourage people to kind of keep track of what's going on, kind of know what's going on as far as your libraries are concerned. it's very important that we keep our kids educated in reading, and we don't want that to go away. Okay, and so our next meeting is scheduled for May 14th at 4 o'clock at the Beaufort Branch Library. Can I have a motion for an adjournment?
I make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, Bernie seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
It was a quick meeting.
Short meeting today, we didn't have that much to talk about, so that's good.
Wonderful.
I think that's so.